Yo, what's good, mi gente? This is Pura Cultura Sin Censura, and this is your boy Lazy.
And I'm Smiley.
And together, we are the
Maxi
Twins.
Twins.
Ooh, I
Yes,
like
sir.
that.
Yo, man. It's been a minute, bro. We've been telling the people we've been trying to, get together, get serious, somewhat serious, bro, and talk about business, bro. Talk about how we decided to start our own business, So it's been something that we've been doing this summer.
Yeah.
We've been mentioning to the people that follow us on our personal pages. They see that's kind of like what we've been on this whole summer, man. So, something that we do that we kind of made it a purpose and kind of made it like took it upon ourselves to have that responsibility is to share information that we're learning as we go. Whether since we started this, we work at our 9-to-5 jobs, and what we learn at our 9-to-5 jobs and experiences we go through, we talk about them.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it can help some people that might go through the same thing or going through the same thing. And in anything, we talk relationship talk. We talk raising how we raise our kids. We talk about, all kinds of shit that we go on in life, man. We share it. Hopefully it can help people, man. But
Life and culture, man.
Life and culture, man. Exactly. It's a mixture of both that we be doing. So, with this one, man, we definitely want to make it a point to just share, man. For the people that have been following for a minute, they see me and Lazy. We always talking about business, like wanting to start a business. They always talk. People always heard about us wanting to get into real estate, getting into somewhat start a business and make additional income.
We want it all.
Additional income to add to what we already make, and
Yeah.
eventually, be like our own bosses, be entrepreneurs. It sounds weird, right? To be like,
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. That's still it sounds weird, right? But
It's hard to even say that word. Period.
spell that shit.
No mames, güey.
So this summer, man, we well, let's just talk a little bit about how we even
Let's jump from the beginning. Like, what even started changing like our direction to even think of possibly starting a business, right? Because it doesn't just start like I'm gonna start a business and you get there, right? Because we didn't do that. We started like opening up what we would read, what we would listen to. One main thing that I started listening to is like people that already have businesses, people that share their experiences of I started a business a year ago and I did it like this, or I started renting this, or I started my real estate. I bought my house and then I rented. So we started listening to stuff, and then we started convincing our mindset, right? Because
not just convincing, but expanding our
mindset, but also convincing ourselves that, because it takes a while to actually
put the puzzle together,
but to actually tell yourself like you can do this. You know what I mean? Because we are so used to being like, bro, if you want more money, get yourself a part-time job. You know what I mean?
That was me for a long time.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, if you want more money, work overtime. That was me. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time where I felt, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. It sounds funny way, but I thought I was balling way because I worked so much overtime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now that I think about it years later and we're going to go through the process, I was like, dang, I was trading all of my time for money. You know what I mean? So it's like we get put in this game. You know what I mean? This life period. It's a way that you make your decisions and you choose to live the way that you want to live, right? And there's no right or wrong way, man. If people are happy the way that they're living, we've been saying this in episodes, do that. Get it how you live. And if you are happy and your family's good, we're not telling anybody you got to change anything. Yeah. We're just sharing our experience.
And for the most part, people got to understand this is coming from two dudes that came from the inner city, man. We come from the hood, plain and simple. But not just that, we grew up undocumented. People know, people that listen to us, they know we grew up undocumented and we was undocumented until we was 25 years old. So
Yeah.
going to college, getting higher education, getting scholarships, getting all this stuff that was not available to us, you know. And plus some of the choices we made as youngsters, también, you know, the crowds we hung out with, the lifestyle we chose to live, all that was, put all that together. We didn't have it in our mind to become businessmen someday, or become business people one day, right? We didn't think it was possible for people like us.
Yeah, because it wasn't a reality. Like, we didn't know anybody that guided us this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew people that we knew people that would guide us out of gang culture. You know what I mean? We had mentors that would try to come around us and try to guide us out of the streets, or guide us out of hanging out with the wrong crowds, or getting involved with gangs. But there was not one person that I can remember that was like, yo, I have a business, and if you guys decide that you guys want to do something like this, I can help, or real estate or shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. So growing up, to me, I never ever imagined that there was a different way to live. Like, our parents from the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And this is going to go to la gente that their parents are, most likely came from the motherland. Our parents straight up tell us, when you get your education, but your education is, they're really just saying, like, learn English and the basics, and then get a job. You know what I mean?
And get a full-time job somewhere.
Si te agarran de planta, you know what I mean? I remember that. I remember those words, like, agarran gente para planta, and that just means, like, you're going to get planted there. You know what I mean? In Spanish, you translate that. You're going to get planted there, and you're going to, that's where you want to stay. You know what I mean?
Because, but, they were just doing it for trying to look out for us. They wanted security. They wanted to be like, oh, if you get a full-time job, that it'll come with health insurance. It'll come with benefits. You'll be able to start a family. You'll be able to buy a house. Yeah. They looked at it that way. The way they came, and the way they learned, and the way that they saw success as people being full-time employees.
And that's a dream. From the countries that we come from, like, to have a job that will keep you employed for your whole life. Yeah, that's like from the countries that we come from, Latinos. And I'm sure other people. That right there is already success.
Yeah, because, like, I went through a lot of temp agencies. I think you went through some.
Yeah.
And there's no security with that. One week they send you one place.
They treat you like shit.
They treat you like shit in these jobs, and then the next month you go somewhere else, and you're moving around until a company wants to hire you as a full timer. So the goal is to become a full timer. So our parents. They've seen that same structure, and they've always been like, just make sure you do good work. That way they get you full time, and then you're set. So, but the reason I was saying that is, like, we share our experience, and this is coming from the point of view of someone that grew up like us. Like, there's people that grew up undocumented that still went that extra mile to get the higher education.
Yeah,
because you could go to college, but you had to pay out of state tuition.
They were super, like, self-motivated,
all
and
that.
They just had, like, a vision from a young age that they were gonna just be bigger or be greater, than what was handed to them. And we didn't think that far. We didn't think that, like, we were too busy, like, getting into other things, like getting into partying, hanging out with the homies, hanging out with girls, all that stuff. We didn't, like, our goal. We didn't have goals as kids, bro.
We was hard workers, though, because since we was like 16 years old, we held jobs, but we had no goals ahead of us. We were just moving with the flow. We were just going with the flow. Like, oh, I was told I needed a job. So, especially with us, as I think a lot of Latinos go this way. Like, our parents didn't want us to wear them big pants. Our parents didn't want us to wear them dress like cholos, bro. So they'd be like, if you want to dress like that, you got to buy your own clothes, right? So a lot of us, we would get jobs so we could afford to buy them Cortezes, them
Yeah.
Ben Davis, them all that, So,
And Ben
but
Davis weren't cheap.
they weren't cheap, man. But what I'm trying to say is like this point of view is coming from people that grew up like that, So, for the people that grew up, that went to school, went to college, did all that, you might not see exactly the way our point of view, our experience, but just check it out, man. You might, you might learn something from this too, But
Yeah.
so plain and simple, man. The way, like, let's just speed it up a little bit, Once we reached, like, I would say our late 20s, we started kind of getting serious about, like, I want to take my job more serious. We still didn't see ourselves as like we can start our own businesses one day, but we saw it as I want to start taking my job more serious. Maybe I can become a supervisor. Maybe I can become a manager. And we saw that as like, okay, that like, which is good because you're shooting for a goal. You have a goal to try to reach, right? But as we started getting older, and like, not just because we in this podcast game, I'm saying this, but like podcast has been very helpful to people because we get to hear people that like experiences from people, and we get to get information from people that have been there, that are doing that or have done that, and that want to do other things, and people are willing to share the information as they go along the way. So it's kind of like Elon Musk said, right? Like, how can you not learn something? Like, you can learn everything you want on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the way we see that. I mean, we caught that también, right? So whenever we want to learn something new, like let's say something happens with your car, you go to YouTube, you learn how to do it, you do it yourself. But when it comes to like learning about business, when it comes to learning about how to manage your financing, how to invest, how to do all that, we turn to podcasts. We turn to, well, that's what I turn into. I know you tune into a lot of books. So it's like there's a lot of information out there, and we just started putting that information, in our heads. We started listening to those podcasts. We started reading listening to those books, and eventually you start listening to it so much it starts making sense. Because in the beginning you listen to some of that and you're like, well, of course they make it sound so easy because they've been doing that shit.
They're millionaires.
Why wouldn't they say it's easy to do this and easy to do that, right? But you start paying attention, and you start, like we talked about this before, like your subconscious mind. Your mind is just running in the background as you're living, and you start realizing that you can actually accomplish some of these things. Your brain, your subconscious mind starts putting you in the position and giving you that energy, helping you redirect your focus to read into some things, to listen into some things, to do some research on some things. Like, it starts giving you that energy
to even move different. Like, you might start not attending every party. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying people gotta just stop partying, period, because we don't. You know what I'm saying? We still like to party. But I'm just saying, you start moving different. You know what I mean? Like, you just start, your priorities start slowly changing. And that's one thing that I think people can learn from us. You know what I mean? Is like, it doesn't mean, because like with social media now, everybody's like, you have to do it like this, and you have to be like this. Stop drinking, stop partying, ditch those friends. This and that. It's like, nah. It's like everybody's
just balance.
Everybody's path is not gonna be the same. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I can easily be like, okay, I know that I can get there a lot quicker if I cut off all the party scene, all my homies. I know I can get there in 2 years. If I keep my homies, I'm gonna get there in 5 years. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna choose my homies, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna do it in my time, because you know what? That's just the way that I'm moving. So that's one thing that people can also get from us. It's like, you don't want to be a lonely, successful motherfucker.
Yeah,
either, you don't want to be a lame, bro. Like, bro, there's so many beautiful moments that you have with your people, like good friends, good, good homies. Like, there's so many beautiful moments that you share with each other, And the good thing about us, way now at this age that we have, is now a lot of our people's way, um, a lot of our crew, they all have, they're either like they have their business or they're self-employed, or you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
we all have like different conversations now. You know what I'm
Yeah, the
saying?
conversation is definitely
So
different.
that's definitely one thing that does change. You know what I mean? You start reading stuff, and I'm not gonna lie. Um, some people might think like, man, this fool shares some lame shit, and this is, you know, for the listeners that have been rocking with us for a minute, like, yo, man, Lazy's sharing books, or like, wow, who the fuck is the way se cree, you know what I mean? Or damn, this fool, he thinks he's gonna be perfect or whatever. That's not the case of what I'm trying to do. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, yo, this book was dope. Maybe somebody will
Yeah.
it will get their attention and they'll want to read it too. But you know, looking at my Facebook, you know, what do they have? Those memories or
Yeah.
the shit that I shared when I was a wild dude?
Mm-hmm.
That's embarrassing, right? This shit, like me sharing a book or me sharing like, yo, I put up a vision board and I'm gonna start looking in the mirror and high-fiving myself. That's not embarrassing. Like
High-fiving yourself in the mirror?
yeah.
You might want to have kept that one to yourself.
No, that's bro. That's a book. That's Mel Robbins, bro. She's dope. I rock with her heavyweight. But I'm just saying, the stuff that I'm kind of embarrassed to share now, like damn, like I just said, vision board, mirrors, or affirmations. You know, like you put in your mirror, like in a year I'm gonna own a rental property, or in a year I'm gonna whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? That to a lot of people is like, that's corny, that's lame, that's the way, fucking chavala or something, right? But if I look back at my memories on Facebook, damn, that shit was lame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was a dude that was not gaining anything. There was no value in the shit that I was doing or sharing. So this is what we're doing now. Now it's like, yo, I did read some dope shit, and now it's not like you have to understand everything like a jalón way. It's not that you have to understand everything like, yo, I read that book and now I know it.
Yeah.
No, it's okay to be like, yo, I read that book and I'm still confused. So maybe you got something from that book, and if you're still focused on whether it's taxes, whether it's real estate, whether it's whatever, you go on to another book and you continue, you know, business. You continue to slowly, excuse me, gain that information way, and that's what it was for us way.
Yeah.
Because as we're getting into it, it didn't happen overnight way.
No.
We talked about business way. We would call each other sometimes excited. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, bro, I just read this, or I just heard this podcast, or I just seen this YouTube video of this business that they started, and we're talking about it, and we're trying to see like, you know, how could we do it? And just shooting back ideas, and then slowly with that excitement, slowly with that energy, and slowly being in the same frequency almost. You know what I mean? Like maybe being twins has something to do with it, but to be honest, like you could do it with your sister or your brother or your prima, your primo,
or a friend,
or you know, a real, like a friend that you're gonna rock with for real, you know.
Yeah, so that was one thing. That was one thing for us, man. You know, we were listening to a lot of the same business podcasts. We were, we would
send each other them.
We would send each other certain episodes that we liked and we thought that we would benefit from. But like you said, we would call each other like every day. Like sometimes I'll be driving home from work, or you'll be driving home from work, and then we'll just be talking about what can we start, what business can we start, and not, you know, one thing is like, there's so many businesses that you want to start, but at the same time, you got to ask yourself, what business are we ready to start?
Yeah.
Because there's so much shit that you could want to do, but where are you financially that you can actually start there? You know what I mean?
What makes sense? You know, you got to look at where you're at in life. You know, we take in consideration everything, like our jobs, our wives, our kids. You know what I'm saying? Like what can we do that is still gonna keep us happy at the moment way? Because, you know, we're not trying to do something that we're not gonna be able to see our kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not what we want. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's what we did. We would weigh balance and everything, and then we would figure out like what can we do as we're listening to different podcasts, reading books,
Brainstorming.
brainstorming. What can we do that fits our life right now?
Yeah. So just to get into it, man, you know, we had heard this one episode about a dude that he rents boats and rents jet skis, right?
Yeah.
And right away it was crazy because I hit you up and I was like, bro, this is it. Like this is it right here. This fits us perfectly because we are in a state, for everyone that you know been rocking with us for a minute, they know we're in Minnesota. What's Minnesota known for? We have 10. Is it 100,000? We have 100,000 lakes in Minnesota. So it's like obviously it makes sense to be able to have a boat or jet ski rental business in Minnesota. There's so many damn lakes that for a lot of the times people don't want to buy a boat. They just want to rent it for a weekend.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to buy jet skis. They just want to rent it for that weekend and have fun and call it. They don't want the responsibility of owning that. They
say the two best days when you're a boat owner
to own a boat
is when you buy it and when you sell it.
Yeah. So a lot of people go by that. You know, like people want to be able to enjoy a day on the lake, but they don't want that bill. They don't want that
responsibility,
but they don't want that payment, and they don't want all that responsibility that comes with it. So it's like some people rather just rent it, enjoy it for a weekend, and hop off the boat and go about your day, go about your life. Same with jet skis, you know. So when we heard that episode about that person talking about boat and jet ski rental business, we hit each other up. We're like, this is it.
Because I think because you didn't tell me to hear it. Like we were on business podcasts, you know what I mean? And every time we would hear a business that like attracted us, we'd share it. And we're like, oh, I heard that already.
Yeah.
But that was the one that it just like clicked for both of us.
And that's dope because that's like, it's kind of, I don't know, you want to call it a sign, you want to call it just made sense or whatever you want to call it, but it was like something that we were just both fully on board and we knew like, yeah, this is obviously a really good idea, right? So I hit you up, you know, and we're like, bro, let's do it, you know. So we
started researching.
We started doing our research, but we started hitting up stores. We're like, hey, we want to buy some jet skis, and they'd be like, you know, right away we got we sold out until next summer. And we called a few different places because we were actually going to start this in 2021, the summer of 2021.
Yeah.
But everyone knows, like during the pandemic, everybody has extra money for whatever reason. You know, PP loans, unemployment checks, all that has something to do with it, I'm guessing. But people went out and bought all the jet skis, man, and they went and bought all the boats and pontoons. So it's like we couldn't start nothing last year. So that's another thing. It took a lot of patience of us to be like, okay, that's what it is. That's not gonna take our motivation away. Yeah. That's not gonna like basically be like, fuck it, that's not a good idea. Then let's do something else. We took that information. We actually put our order in for the jet skis last summer.
Yeah. So
the summer before we started. And we knew, okay, boom, that's out of the way. We made our deposit on those jet skis, which we ordered 4 jet skis. And we're like, all right, now let's get started on everything else. Then we started thinking about, you know, me and you we would get on the phone every night and we would talk about, okay, let's start brainstorming on business names, you know, on what's the name, what could be the name of the business that sounds dope, you know, that sounds, you know, because we want to, you know, we want to keep things separate, you know, like we want to make shit sound dope, but we also want to make it sound professional. You know what I mean? So
Pura Cultura boat rentals or what?
You know, that wasn't out of the question in the beginning. We're like, bro, how can we incorporate this whole thing? Yeah. But you know, like, you know, we want to make it inclusive with everybody when we start renting. We don't want people to be like, oh, that sounds like, you know, very,
oh my God, like they only rent to Hispanic people.
So we want to make it sound something dope that, you know, people from all backgrounds will want to rent, but we also wanted to throw in a Spanish word that Latinos could be like, oh wait, maybe they speak Spanish, or like, hold up, maybe they got someone that speaks Spanish at that company.
Yeah.
Something, because we wanted to put that out there.
We had Latino, we had Spanish speaking people in our mind from the get go.
Yep.
That was a main thing, bro. Like we already knew that there's like a demand for like, or people want to ride jet skis, right? Mm-hmm. We already know that's out there, but we already knew is like our gente, our Latinos, they want to do this shit too.
Yeah.
But they just don't know how, or they just the language barrier, communication. So that was our mindset to begin with, even though now we rent across the board. Everybody, we don't have one more or the other. We just, everybody's like, all our customers are just
different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But it's like, we definitely want to make sure that it's like we make something easier accessible to Latino people that, might have that language barrier, so we started brainstorming names, and then we came up with like 2 or 3 that we really liked. We slept on that for a couple of days, and then we find, you gotta have a name to roll off the tongue for a while. You gotta bounce it back and forth in your head, and then
you gotta make sure that it feels good.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I feel like a name got to roll off the tongue nicely, bro.
It got to roll off the tongue. But it also got to feel like something that you can identify and be proud of, because it's gonna be a part of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, that's true.
Can I present this as like, for people, like your business is your baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love our babies.
Oh, you're dropping golden nuggets.
No, mama's way. I'm sure you're proud as hell when you introduce your kids and you give them your name, like say their name.
Yeah.
That's just same thing with a business way.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? It's like, this is my business. This is our name, and we're proud of it. We stand by it. Way you could be shy or intimidated or like have anxiety in a lot of things, way, and I deal with that. But fuck depression and fuck anxiety, way. Mm-hmm. But you're proud of your business, just like it's just part of you, way. You know what I mean? And we didn't understand this before, way. You know what I mean? When people would like be just proud of like introducing, like when you introduce your girl, you're proud. When you introduce your kids, you're proud. Introducing your business, way, it's the exact same kind of pride, way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just the energy and the space that we're in right now, way.
Yeah. So I mean, when we were coming up with the name, we definitely wanted to come up with a dope name, a dope business name that everyone could pronounce, but it would also kind of match our identity, way. You know what I mean? Because
people question it though.
We want to keep it real. We want to keep it real all the way around with what we do. If we're gonna put our name on it, we definitely wanted to identify with who we are and what we about, man. So that's where the name Twin City Lago came through. Twin City, obviously, for people that don't know, Minneapolis and St. Paul, they're right next to each other, so they call it the Twin Cities.
Yeah, they're basically the biggest cities in Minnesota, and since they're so close to each other, they call them Twin Cities. And for people that are not from Minnesota, Twin City area or Twin City, that's just basically Minnesota and Minneapolis and St. Paul and neighboring suburbs. You know, it just happens to be that we're twins. Some people think that we also made the name because we're twins.
But we did somewhat incorporate for that.
Yeah, it's incorporated, but it does fit in the city that we're in.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything that we do, we try to put in twins because we twins. We try to represent our state, but we also represent, the Latinos side of us. So we definitely try to put some Spanish in there. So Twin City Lago, some people are like, Lago, what is that? Certain customers and we're like, that means lake in Spanish. And like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I should have known that, shit like that. But
I took Spanish in college.
So it's dope. It's dope to be able to, to keep it real with ourselves. At the end of the day.
And represent,
Yeah, represent. But it's dope to keep it real with yourselves because at the end of the day, you don't start something and you don't create something to still not be 100% who you are and be super comfortable with what you're representing, man. So that was some of the process for the name. Just going back and forth, saying names if it sounded dope to you. It you know, kind of, obviously we're 50-50 owners, so it was like we don't move forward with something unless we're both like 100% with it. You know, like we both got to be definitely you know, cool with it before we approve anything.
We is it compromise?
Sometimes we compromise.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like you could bring up an idea and I could be not fully with it, but if we just change a little something, then I'm like, all right, cool. You know, let's run with it. You know, so it's that. You know, it's one of those things that I believe people also got to take in consideration when you move forward with an idea. If you're gonna have a partner, is just know that it's not just about starting a business and selling or providing a service. It's also a relationship with your partner. How strong is that relationship, and how much can you trust that person is going to have the same like determination to make sure that this business is successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta be respectful with each other, you know, because there's times where I'll come up with an idea and you're not with it, and I'm like, damn. Like in my head, I'm like, that was a dope idea, you know. But if you're not 100% with it, I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Then I guess, you know, just let that be. And I just gotta be okay with it, you know. I can't let that turn me into like, man, fuck that shit. I'm just, you know, once we get this going, I'm just gonna start my own thing on the side. But I'm gonna just stick this out for a minute. Like, you can't be like that. You can't have that type of energy, because things ain't gonna work out. You gotta be like 100% good with each other. Just like you know, if you throw an idea out and I'm just like, I don't know, maybe we're too early for that, or I don't know if I like how that sounds. We gotta just be respectful of how you deliver it and how I respond to it and how we go about it, because it's all about communication. And if there's respect in that communication, even when you're dealing with your brothers or your sister or your family, you gotta be respectful, because at that moment when you're dealing in business, I know it sounds a little weird, but it's like you're dealing with business. You gotta kind of separate being family with the business, you know. And if you keep it respectful and you're courteous about other people's feelings and everything, then it's gonna be a smoother ride. Because obviously there's gonna be arguments, you know, just like, you know, me and you, we have arguments about certain things. We have disagreements on certain things, but that's just natural. That's just being human. But we just gotta have that you know, the las ganas to be successful, and las ganas to have a successful business gotta be stronger than the little disagreements that we have, man.
We gotta keep the end goal and, you know, the reason why we started this, you know, in the priority of things. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you gotta just take a break. Like, there's times where, you know, me and Lazy we'll be arguing about something. We're like, all right, you know what, man, I'll just hit you up later, man. We take that day off, man. We just kind of like, you know, we hit each other up the next day, and we good again. You know, we cool down and we're ready to continue where we left off. Sometimes you just gotta know when to take a break, man. But, you know, that's how we came up with the name. You know, next, you know, what we wanted to do, we definitely wanted to make it a legit business. So what we started doing is looking up how to create an LLC, you know, how to make this business a legit business. Yeah. So everything can be under that name. You know, we don't want money to be going in your bank account, because, you know, that's, you know, for the people that have been in business, that's called commingling. You know, you're commingling your money with your personal money, and there's times where you might
like to commingle. Hey,
with men?
Oh
shit, we might have to cut that shit out. So it's like that's called commingling. You're mixing your personal money with your business money, and that's not good for two reasons. Because your partner might be like, yo, like, what's up, bro? I thought, I could swear we had more money than this. Like, you must have spent a little more than you're saying you have. Or, you know what, man? Let me check your bank account. And then you're like, bro, what you mean check my bank account? I don't want you going through my personal. So obviously that's not good.
I went to fucking sexual fantasies last week, and you're gonna see what I bought from them.
Yo,
like,
we don't want to know your personal purchases.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you gotta keep a different bank account for your
Yeah.
business.
So another bad thing about it is that, let's say your company gets sued. Like if you're mixing or commingling your money, your personal money with your business money, it's an easy way to get sued. Because there's no layer of protection that separates your business money with your personal money, and then they can come after your house, they can come after
Your
your
personal,
savings, they can come after all that. So what we definitely wanted to do is we wanted to create an LLC to give us protection, for the business to be on its own and protect our personal belongings, our personal like our homes,
assets.
our assets, and our bank accounts. So that was an important thing. Create a LLC. We opened up a bank account for the company, and then we also opened up a credit line for the company. So all the money that when people, in this case, when people book a rental, that money goes straight into the business bank account. That doesn't go into our personal accounts. When we go pump gas, when we go buy accessories for the business, that's purchased with the business credit card or the business bank card, check card. That that stays away from our personal banks. I mean, our personal money. Everything is it goes through the business, which it's a good thing because there's visibility, there's transparency. There's if you buy something, you can be like, yo, I bought this these tools for the business. Well, obviously you want to charge it on the business because it was purchased for that business, and we also want to see how much. That way we can both see how much it cost and all that kind of stuff.
It's just good business practice. Pero también, one thing that people got to understand or just know is when you open up a business account or a business bank account or credit, the bank will call you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they want to set you up.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get too deep into how banks work, because banks, they want you to open up a business. Yeah. They want you to get a line of credit for your business, and all that stuff, right? That'll be an episode for a later time. But just for starters, it's just like as soon as you open up your LLC, through the one that we went through, they automatically connect you to people that it's like
they refer you to a bank that they work with.
Yeah, it's all in the network, right? And they call you up and they're like, okay, so they're trying to set you up to your success, but at the same time for their own success, right? They don't want you to fail, because if you fail,
everybody got to eat.
Everybody got to eat.
Everybody got to win a little bit in this process.
Right? And so that's one thing I just wanted to mention, that it's like, don't think that it's like that people are not trying to help you. You're gonna have like a department that's there specifically you can call them at any time for your business needs, and they're gonna be there because that bank actually a lot of their money and things that they depend on is for you to be successful.
Right. So yeah, that's what we did. We got the LLC created. We became a legit business, and I gotta say, for everyone that's opened up a LLC for their own business, and for people that are planning to do it, it's a very rewarding feeling when you get that paperwork, those documents sent to you, and you're like, like when like the city official of your city signs the documents that you're a official business in your state.
Yeah,
that feels very dope. It feels very dope. It's like very motivating when you're like, okay, it's like it's real now. Let's get it. So
plus it makes you feel like to a different level. It just makes you feel like you're somebody, right? You know what I mean? You're not just like, it's like somebody's acknowledging something that you've done or that you're doing or that you own. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very dope thing in the space.
It makes you legitimate. It's a good feeling to be legitimate and all that stuff, man. So once we got that done, it was like, the ball's rolling, like everything is in motion. The ball's rolling. We're taking the steps on what we can, because like we said, we knew now we're a year ahead. Yeah. We're a year away from actually getting, to being running this business. Right now we basically got a whole year to prep for this whole business. So so we started going by the steps. Another thing that you have to do is get a logo. Get a logo for your company. Get a logo created. So I'm gonna share this right now. Like, we go through Fiverr. When we get logos created, we go through an app called Fiverr, a website called Fiverr, whatever it is. I go through the app.
Yeah.
On there you can find artists, you can find designers, you can find people that do all kinds of things for a very low price, because a lot of times you're hiring people from China, you're hiring people from India, you're hiring people from Latin America, you're hiring people in Europe, like even here in the States. But it's people that do those kind of services. You pay them a certain amount, and what's dope is that you're able to see examples of work that they've done, and you're like, some of the process that I do is I go through people's projects or work that they've done before, and I match it with my taste. Like, is what I do. I'll go through their work, and I'm like, I like this style. This fits my style. This fits my taste. And then I start what you can make like a little collection of those people, and then I start narrowing it down, and then I really choose who I feel kind of like what logo kind of represents who we are, can kind of really show what the company's about, and then I go with them, and then it's pretty easy. You just email them, let them know your ideas, and then they give you the pricing, and then boom, you pay them. They give you a rough draft. You can make changes as you go, and then once you're happy with it, you basically okay the artwork, and boom, you got your logo. So it's very easy. It does take work though, because one thing that you're doing is you're for a lot of times you're working with artists that are from Europe or from India. So you're messaging them. I'm messaging them at like 11 at night, and to them is in the morning, and vice versa. They'll send me, so sometimes it takes a while to get to message back and forth because of the time difference. But it's very convenient. It's very you can save some money doing it that way. But it's
quality work.
It's quality work. It's quality work. One thing that they do, and that you gotta get the right artwork that you can create logos out of it. You can create stickers out of it. You can create T-shirts out of it. You gotta have the right format of files. So that's the next thing we did. We got our logo created, which made the company more real now. Like every step that we're taking, it just makes everything a lot more realer. And a lot it gets you excited at the same time, man. So that's one thing that we did. Another thing that you want to do, and another thing that I highly recommend for everybody in the business, whether you're doing with whatever business that you're doing, that you're selling any product or any service, you got to get a website created. Like having a website in this day and age, that's like
mandatory.
That's mandatory. You should not be selling T-shirts. If you're selling T-shirts, you need to have a website to sell T-shirts. If you're doing hair, you need to have a website for people to schedule to get a hair appointment with you. If you're whatever you're doing, if you're washing, if you have your own car wash business, you need to have a website where people can go on there and book and reserve their car wash with you.
People need the accessibility, whatever you say,
and the convenience
to get on their phone and buy your product, book your service, schedule whatever appointment. If somebody cannot get on their phone and make the business transaction that they need for that day or for whatever it is, you're missing out on customers, period.
Because you're making their job harder. You're making someone's job harder to find out what your business is about, what kind of work you do, what kind of work you've done in the past. How if you're making your job harder for your customer, your client, you got a higher possibility of them just finding someone else to do it, where they can easily go online and book someone else's service.
Somebody that got a better process set up,
because it's like, just like we do with our podcast business, with our podcast website. We have a website where people can go on and order their T-shirt, order a hat, order a hoodie. we make it easy for people that listen to us that want to support by buying some of our merch. Is like we're on different time zones, and for a lot of the time that's one reason. But it's like for a lot of time it's like some people don't want to DM you and be like, hey, I want to buy a shirt from you. How can I buy it?
Yeah.
I'm a size this. How much does it cost? People don't want to go through all that hassle. If you have a website that gives them all the information with a way for them to order what they want and have it shipped to their home, why wouldn't they prefer that?
Yeah.
You know,
make it feel legit, bro. Like
make it feel legit.
Like people love to buy fucking Nike. You know, people love to buy whatever brands that they love, right? They're not DMing them. You know what I'm saying? They're ordering from fucking Amazon or they're ordering from people's websites. About DMing people, like it could be cool. You know what I mean? Because we do got people that we rock with and we chop it up y todo eso. But some people, they're, you know, extroverts, you know what I mean? Or introverts or whatever. And they just feel like awkward from talking to you. Like, so it's like, how, okay, now I got to text this person or I got to DM this person. Now I got to tell them my size. Now I got to tell them my address. Or now I got to ask, when is it going to get here? When you have a website, it tells them, you put all that information in there, and then you get a notification and it's going to tell you it's, you know, this is getting processed, and then they'll probably give you a fucking UPS tracking y todo eso, you know?
So it's like, you just got to think about making it easier for the customer. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, like we mentioned, they don't want to go through all those questions on the DM. They just want to go to your website, order what they want, and boom, call it that. I can tell you this. When we created the website for the podcast, for people to be able to order merch, we were getting more orders through that because it was so easy for them to just go to our website and order merch. Some people don't, like we mentioned, they don't want to go through all those questions. Some people are embarrassed. Some people are shy or whatever. So
some people don't even want to let you know that, you know, some people just want to be like discreet. You know what I mean? Like some people don't want to be like, hey, we're not going to get too crazy into stuff, but some people just want their privacy, period.
Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. Like, if you own any type of business, look into creating a website if you don't already have one.
And you can get somebody on Fiverr to create your website.
You can create, just like we did for our jet ski business, our Twin City Lago business. Again, we went to Fiverr. I go through people that create that are website developers, you know, so web designers. So I go through their work, I go through the websites, and I find the website style that fits ours. Because not every website not every website is the same. There's some that people can just purchase something, and that's one thing. But in our business, people got to book and reserve something. There has to be a calendar involved. So that's a different type of plugins. You know what I mean? So that we're not going to get into detail on that. But you find your web designer that knows how to create the website that you need for your business. Yeah. And then you start conversating with them. You start letting them know what you're looking for on your website, how you want your website to look. Again, they start creating it. You start messaging. You start getting samples of how it's looking. You start getting examples, and you don't finalize it until you're completely happy with how your website looks. It's like, again, for me, it was a longer process. On the website, it's a longer process because you have a certain idea how you want your website to look. You want certain buttons to do this. You want everything to look a certain way. So website it was definitely a little longer process in creating a logo, but it's easy. You know, it's easy. It's just time consuming,
and it's worth it because it's like, take the time to invest. Like, don't have this dope idea. Don't have this dope excitement, this dope energy to create this, and then like fall short in a website or fall short in a logo. Like, match that same energy that you have. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you love this idea, this business idea that you're gonna create, love the logo,
Yeah.
love the website, love it. You have to love everything of it, man, because like I said earlier, like you have to present yourself and you have to be so in love with what you're doing, not only with the business that you've created, but the service and the quality of
The presentation.
presentation and the brand that you're offering.
Yeah.
Like you have to be proud of all of it. You have to be proud, like my customer deserves this top-notch quality of the quality of material, the quality of service, the quality of website, the quality of logo. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean is like like don't try to save $1, but make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go extra. Make it make sense with your creativity and what you can actually create, so that you know that this is what I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody has that idea, like this is what I want, and when you see it in an actual visual, you're like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So work on it. Take your time. Sleep on it.
You gotta be patient.
Patience.
Like with the artists that I deal with, they'll send me something, and sometimes you feel a little uncomfortable. You're like, damn, like this is the third time I tell them to make a change, and but it's like, you're paying for this. One thing that I did, me personally, you can tip these people as they're working. So as they're working, and I know that I'm requesting a lot of them, I'll just send them an extra $15. I'll send them an extra certain money, just to be like, you got to motivate the artist también to be motivated to bring out the best in what they're working on. So if you're sending them a little bit of extra money, believe me, they're going to be a lot.
It's showing appreciation.
Yeah, they're going to be a lot
time.
willing to work with your changes. So just know that. Don't, like, when it comes to creating your website or creating your logo, don't cheap out and don't rush it, because this is something that's going to be representing who you are. When people go to your website, they're going to see your logo. Make sure it's a dope logo and it looks clean and it looks professional. When you put that logo on your business, like we created business shirts for ourselves. Make sure that it's nice. It's a clean, dope logo that people can see it and recognize it and be like, wow, respect it, and be like, wow, we're dealing with professionals here. Like, let people know that you're about business before you even open your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, quick example.
I like that.
I was approached in this business where we're renting. We're meeting people that we've never seen in our lives. People booked us online, and we show up, and we're messaging once we're there and all that. But there's times where people will approach us and they'll see the logo on our shirt and be like, "Oh, Twin City Lago. Hey, I'm what's my name?" And boom, like, nice to meet you. And we start with the whole transaction. Like, they see the business shirt, and then that. A lot of people are. It's one of those transactions where it's kind of like, whoa, can this be weird? Is this real? Is it, what I mean? Like, but once you see someone very professional about it, we're like, oh shit, like, this is a legit business. Yeah. These guys are very professional, and all that. It all comes together.
Makes sense. Yeah. It's like I didn't even think about the apparel or the merch. So it's dope that you got that going. But it's like when you go to Target, or it's like when you go to McDonald's, or like you recognize a uniform and you're like, okay, this is business. This is I'm in an actual business transaction right now. I'm hungry. You sell food. I'm gonna exchange my money for some food, right?
Yeah.
Same thing in the lakes, just like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people see us and they're like, okay, that's the name. And they're dressed in their apparel or their logo. Boom. It's so natural. You know what I'm saying? And not only just that, but people that, sometimes we're just hanging out at the lake waiting for, some of the rentals or whatever the case. People see the logo. You know what I'm saying? We got the logo in the back, or we got writing in the back that says, we rent jet skis. You know what I'm saying? Or we've got business just by having our clothes or our merch on
Or
point.
like advertising,
Advertising.
as we're hanging out,
Walking billboards.
as I go to Target, or any store, I'm advertising our business. People might not have that people might not know that it's possible to just rent a jet ski for a day or a couple hours. Boom. Or they might not have been thinking about it. Boom. You just put that in their head. So again, at the lakes, sometimes we're setting up and people walk by and be like, oh, hey, you guys rent jet skis? Boom. You got a potential customer right there. It's just, you got to do everything to create an opportunity to gain a customer. Once that conversation started, it's up to you to close that deal. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we don't want to get too deep into that, man. Yeah. But creating shirts and having a somewhat of a uniform, but feeling comfortable at the same time.
Uniform.
It's
that means a lot, though.
It means a lot.
Uniform, because we grew up like working for other people. We grew up having uniforms representing a different business, right?
Yeah.
Take that same pride, or even just have that same respect. We've worked for Subway before. You don't go to work to Subway without your Subway shirt, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Green shirt.
Without that green shirt with the Subway logo. You know what I'm saying? So hold the same respect for your own business like that. And people will also, acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, when we, and we don't want to get too deep into things, but I will say this. When we started this, and sometimes I still will just play that role, I don't go in there like the business owner. You know what I'm saying? I've been an employee my whole life that, yeah, it's our business, but sometimes I just go in there being like a dope ass employee. You know what I'm saying? And to a lot of the people that listen to us, we're all employees, and we're all good employees. We all hold really good jobs. So imagine owning your business and being your best employee to your own business.
That's true. Yeah, you can see it that way. And I was going to say something. You had just said something I was going to say.
Respecting the logo,
Oh, yeah. We, like one thing that is like, that we like to do is like, we like to represent these brands, right? Oh, you got a Tommy shirt. Oh, you got I haven't been wearing brands. I can't even think of brands right now.
You were about to say fucking Rockefeller.
You got Izod on.
Oh, no,
man. But let's say you're wearing Tommy. You're wearing Give me some more names, bro. I can't think right
now. Nautica.
Yo, man, you shop at Macy's, don't you?
No. Check this out. What's another brand out there? Fucking.
See, I can't even think. And that's actually a good thing. That's how much I haven't been wearing other brands. That's how much I have not been wearing your major brand clothing or T-shirts, I should say. Yeah. All my T-shirts, it's either Pura Cultura shirts or it's either Twin City Lago shirts. All I represent is my businesses, my brands. Like jeans and shorts, of course, yeah. We don't really. We do make shorts for podcasts.
Where do they make skinny jeans that tight with?
So yeah, man. So all that's important, man. Just last piece of like the whole, just kind of like the structure. Hopefully, we're not forgetting anything. If we do, we will add it right now as we go. But it's just getting a business phone number. You know what I mean? Like when we started, we're like. It's crazy because when you start all this, you don't even know how all this works. We don't even have an idea of how all this works and how we can get it done. But you just start doing it and you start figuring it out and you just start doing it. Next thing you know, you're like, everything is legit. Everything is in place. And you're like, oh shit, we did all this shit, but it all takes steps. Right. So one thing that we did do is like, research on like how to have a business phone number. And at first we were thinking like we got to go to like a fucking phone company and buy two cell phones, a cell phone for one for me, one for you, and have a business phone number.
Yeah.
Which that would have been the expensive route, right? Like the more expensive route, because we would have had to buy phones, and then we had to open lines for all that. But we're living in a time and age where you don't need all that shit. Yeah. Like you can download an app. In this case, we use the app called Grasshopper. and they give you a phone number. I mean, you pay a monthly fee. They give you a phone number, and then you can choose on like the first person that gets called and then the second person that gets called. So like if someone calls the business trying to get information on renting a jet ski or they want to book something, it rings on my phone first for like 15 seconds. If I don't pick up, then you're the second secondary call. Yeah. And then that way we can kind of assure that one of us will get the call. Yeah. But it's like, it's a good way to, I feel like it's a very good way to go about things, because it's like, we don't got to get additional phones. We pay a monthly fee for this, but that's doable. There's expenses when you start a business.
Facts.
And it just makes it in a way where you're picking up the phone. You know it's not your homie. You know it's not your girl. You know it's not a random caller or like a
collectors.
Yeah, anything like that. It's like this is a business call coming in, so you answer it appropriately, accordingly.
Because the way that this app works, we use Grasshopper, like you mentioned. The way that it works, it gives us our business name when that number is being called. Mm-hmm. It says Twin City Lago. Yeah. So it's already letting you know, yo, this is your business line. Yeah. So when you answer it accordingly. You answer, like the way that we would answer is like, yo, not yo, but hey, this is Twin City Lago. This is, how can I help you? You know what I'm saying? And then it's just a straight business line. Yeah. And it makes it convenient. It's visible.
It's just professional. It makes it professional. So yeah. That's something that I highly recommend if you're in a business where something's getting, you're creating, someone's calling you for appointments, someone's calling you to book something, someone's calling you for anything in that, even if in any type of business, if someone needs to call you, get a line like this. That way, when they call you, you know that it's for your business and you can answer that way. Yeah. You don't want to, sometimes like you're talking to your friend and that call will drop and you think they're calling you back. So you pick up and like, get on that way. What's up? And then someone's like, excuse me. And then they're like confused and they're like, I thought I was calling this. Like, oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, this is me. And like,
so how can I help you?
Exactly. You don't want to do all that. You want to know who it is up front, man. So definitely recommend that company. There's other companies, but I recommend Grasshopper. Yeah. We're not getting paid for this shit, but it's like it's working for us so far. So if you're looking for one, that's one that we can say it works for us. And it's not that expensive, So yeah.
I'm not sure if you have that on what you're trying to say, but adding with the business phone line, you gotta get an address.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that. I mean, we didn't talk about that. We did create we do pay a monthly fee to get a business address as well.
Yeah, which is called like if you look it up online. Because if gente wants to follow like this process that we're putting out, it's gonna be sold like as a virtual address.
There we go. Yep, it's a virtual address, which a virtual address is good because it makes your whole business look more situated. It makes it look more legit.
And you don't want to give your personal information.
You don't want people coming to your crib like, hey, can you, I was wanting to buy this. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, bro, I don't sell that out of my house.
Or, hey, I had a fucked up experience with these dudes, man.
Let me go.
Fuck them.
Fuck their cars up.
Yeah, let's go slash their tires and fucking egg their house or some shit.
Egg their house.
Hopefully that's the worst thing.
But it's like, another thing that a virtual address is good for is that when you create a business, when you have a business, you have what it's called a EIN number, which a EIN number is like a social security number, but it's for your business. That EIN number is good to create business credit. So like the more you create business credit, the more loan, the bigger line of equity you're going to have, or bigger line of credit you're going to have, the more you're able to borrow from banks. You can get a loan for a company vehicle. You can get a loan for a company, whatever your company is.
It's just creating it is. Also like a history. You know what I mean? It's keeping track of how long your business has been ran, how your credit is. It's basically just like your social security number.
Yeah.
But it's your business social security number.
Exactly. So, in order for that EIN number to start getting like a history and all that of your business, how long it's been established, you do need an address for that business. So in this case, we don't want to use our own address, our own home addresses for that. So we pay for a virtual address, which we don't do no business at this address. It's just a virtual address that we have to put on file in order to build business credit. So
Yeah.
again, that's something that's another thing that we did. If people have questions on that, definitely DM us. But I think as far as everything, bro, we went over the major components of how we started this business. But we were very patient. We waited a whole year to actually get the jet skis. And now I want to talk about how we ended up getting the jet skis, right? So we placed the order. You have to put a deposit. I think we put a stack. We put a $1,000 deposit for each set. I put $1,000 deposit. You put $1,000 deposit.
So you put $1,000 deposit for two.
For two.
I put $1,000 deposit for two.
And at first we're like, man, with 4 jet skis, we'll be set. We'll be good.
It's a good startup.
It's a good startup, And then the more research we did on it, we're like, oh, like the jet skis that we ordered, they're mostly recommended for one person, one full size adult, because the max capacity was like 350, and we're like, oh, we want people to be
as far as weight.
Yeah, as far as weight. So it's like, we want people to be able to ride with a passenger or even up to 3 people. So once we got close to, we were already in 2022. We were like in. Well, we were like in May. Must have been May.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, May. It was early
May. Early May.
It was in May, and then I was doing more research, and I let Lazy know. I'm like, hey, bro, the jet skis that we ordered, I mean, they're for 2 people, but a lot of people are saying that it's a lot more comfortable just riding with one person. So then, like last minute,
yeah, I was stressing.
I started doing research. I let Lazy know. I'm like, damn, bro, we gotta start seeing about getting a bigger jet ski, and then we started searching. Of course, again, everybody's sold out. And this is where that road trip comes in, where we talked about on another episode.
Yeah.
That I went on the website. I think it was called like Boat Trader or something like that. I found a dealer that was selling 2 Sea-Doo GTIs. These are bigger jet skis. It can ride up to 3 adults. And I was like, bro, I called this dealer, bro. They got 2 of these, like, and at this point, it starts making you a little.
They really had 10, but
no, they had 2 of them. It starts making you a little uneasy, because you're like, oh damn, like we already got 2. Yeah, I already got 2. You got 2.
Yeah.
And obviously, like all this costs money. It's not like these things are just like handed to you. You know what I mean?
They don't give shit for free these days.
They ain't giving shit for free out here. And then like. This is where we got to make a decision, like, bro, like, should we go for it? And then obviously it made sense. So we're like, bro, we got to do it. It's, we're going to be very limited unless we do this.
Yeah.
And then we got to present this information to the wifeys, because it's not like we moving out here solo, like we got, at the end of the day, we got families to support. We got families to look out for.
We got to protect our home.
We got to protect our families. And we also got to include our wives in this, because it's like this could also affect their. This not could, but this will also affect their financial situation, because when you a unit, you're a unit. But obviously this kind of information can make anyone feel a little uncomfortable. Like, damn, you guys are gonna go get 2 more jet skis, and obviously we explain the situation. When you have all the information, it makes everything a lot easier. And then we decided we went for it, man. So over the phone, like we had said, we applied for the loan on these jet skis, and then we took that long ass road trip to Oklahoma. We drove all the way down to Oklahoma to pick these jet skis up and drive back, which I gotta admit, that was kind of a fun road trip, man.
Yeah.
It was pretty dope. But
one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
And then I'll let you go on the Oklahoma trip. one thing that we got to let people know también, way, is that we started off thinking very small. You know what I'm saying? Not that we're like, not that we're just small minded and all that, but
Yeah.
we started off originally. You were gonna get one jet ski.
Yeah.
I was gonna get one jet ski,
Right.
and we were gonna rent jet skis, which was just gonna be two.
Man.
And then just in conversation, like you said, we would talk like we would talk a lot, like business conversations. You know what I mean? Before we started the business, we were having business conversations before the business was actually a business.
Yeah.
And then within those conversations, it's like, well, why don't we just get two each?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I was thinking about that. Well, I was thinking about that too. Mm-hmm. And then you brainstorm and then you bounce ideas back and forth. Will it make sense? Well, you think you can do that, you know, but whatever it is, the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's when we jump to two each.
Yeah.
And that's why when you brought up the information that the jet skis that we originally purchased were going to be more comfortable or more fun to ride for just the one person, because for people that know jet skis, the ones, the Sparks that we have, they're light and they're meant to just ride and kind of bounce off of waves and, you know, pop wheelies and all that. So the conversation of buying two bigger jet skis, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't an easy decision to make, you know what I mean? But once you get this far, and that's what people will eventually see in whatever business. We're talking in the business that we're in, but you can apply this in whatever business that you are interested in. Once you're in far enough, or you're in deep enough, or you're invested emotionally, mentally, financially, and goal-wise, obviously you got to make sure it makes sense with what you're doing financially, and like you mentioned, our families, we're all good. Then you have to be like, all right, well, now I got to take that leap to make that happen. So we can provide a full rounded business, right? So we don't just have like, oh, well, we only have this. No, like we wanted to come in like, we have this available and this available.
Yeah, we don't want to be limited.
Yeah.
And I feel like in every company, you got to have someone that has your back, but you also got to have someone that's crazy. You both got to be somewhat, I mean, you got to be level-minded, but you got to be risk takers at the same time, bro. I don't want to say crazy, because we're not crazy. We're not just making decisions
Holmes.
Out of nowhere, but you got to be risk takers, because there's times where you're like, bro, we should just do this. And, you know, like, bro, you think we should do that? Like, yeah, bro, let's just do it. All right, man, let's do it then. And like, when we were gonna add these two bigger jet skis, you're like, bro, you think we should do that? I'm like, bro, we need to do this, bro. And you're like, all right, man, let's do it then. And boom, it's like, you need to be risk takers. Someone needs to take the wheel sometimes and be like, this needs to be done. Like, there's times where you don't even know how it's gonna get done, but you know it needs to get done. And you just got to make the move, and then things start falling in place, you know? So, so we did that. We called, we applied for it. And this is one thing that I wanted to talk about, because we took these loans out on our own personal credit.
Yeah.
This was not on the business credit, because our business, we did get a line of credit, but that's like a starter credit for new business. And then, once the jet skis became available, everything went so quick that it's like we just went through our own personal. Yeah. Excuse me. We just went through our own personal credit,
because the first jet skis, it was even before like the business was like officially made, right? Yeah. And then the second jets, like the ones we just mentioned, the GTIs, the ones that we went to Oklahoma for, is business lines of credit are a little different than your personal line of credit. You know, business line credit, they will take a little bit longer, you know? So that's why we jumped on it as like, F it. We're going to do it this way. Some people can be like, oh, you did it wrong. That's not the way you're supposed to do it. Yeah. But it's like, yo, this is the way that I had to do it at this moment. You know what I mean? Can every move that we did be made you know, like
correctly.
like when people say like you analyzed it, so you know, but then you get analysis paralysis. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
We don't
yeah.
deal with analysis
En
paralysis.
caliente, bro.
That's what, you know. I even heard this like this Mexican cat that he's like a business like TikTok dude, or he's just kind of trending. He's like the best businesses or like las mejores decisiones de negocio que se hacen es en caliente, güey. Ahí están. That's the move.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not all the time. Obviously, we're letting people know, like, cautiously.
Yeah.
Know the business you're gonna get into. Know the risks and all that stuff.
Because in this we've done our research so much that we're like, if something was not to go right, we could sell these jet skis for more than what we even paid for them. You know,
Yeah.
in the market that we're at right now. So it's like we're making big decisions and big financial decisions, but we know we have something to fall back on because we know we could sell this and get all our money back.
But another thing, before I let you go right now, is like, my bad. Another big thing is like we were tired of waiting, way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want people to have that idea of like, you know, just desperate or anxiety or whatever, you know, anxious. But we wanted to change. We wanted to start a business.
We were ready.
We were ready to create a different form of like lifestyle or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one that we decided on, we agreed on, and we're like, let's go away. Like, what's the worst case scenario is like we lose and then we gain so much experience and then we fall back, build, and then we go shoot and then we try something else again.
Keep shooting our shots, man. And so once it came to the to getting the jet skis, we in the springtime and everything's falling into place now. The jet skis, we get a call. You guys are 2 weeks away from getting them, and those 2 weeks, no, in the week before, we find out we need bigger jet skis. Boom, we call Oklahoma. We set up to go pick up the jet skis the next week. So we leave here
Friday morning.
No, Saturday. Was it Friday morning? Oh yeah, it was. We leave here Friday morning. We had already scheduled. We're gonna go pick them up Friday afternoon.
We told that story already.
Yeah, and so it's like and then somehow they called us from the other dealers that they're like, you guys' 4 jet skis are here. So we're like, oh shit, everything is happening so quick, and it's that's why we say
within
en caliente.
24 hours.
Within 24 hours, it's like boom. Eso se tiene que hacer en caliente, bro. Like that's why we put everything on our own personal credits, and boom, we went and got the ones in Oklahoma Friday, and we told that whole story. If you guys want to listen to that, man, we're gonna have to find out what episode that was, man. But and then
listen to the last 20 episodes, you'll find it.
So it's like we went down there, we picked them up. There was a whole story behind it. We got back to Minnesota Saturday morning, like at 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning, around there, I think. Then we
drop off the
jet skis, eat some breakfast real quick, and then we go to the dealer here in Minnesota to go pick up the other 4 jet skis. So we got 6 jet skis within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And everything became so real. Within 24 hours, it went from an idea, it went from a logo, it went from a website, and to having the actual jet skis in your garage.
Yeah.
That's a whole different feeling.
To your neighbors being like, what the fuck is going on
Why
over
you
there?
need 6 jet skis up in there.
Like, shit.
But it's like, another thing that I want to share is like, I don't want to get too personal on things, but it's like, we just want to make sure we share things. You know, like your credit, Lazy, was good. My credit was good. And this is one thing I heard in another podcast that I do want to make sure I share because I think it's very important. I think it's somewhat of a gem, and it's a bit of responsibility, and it's a bit of a hack. You know what I mean? I heard in this podcast, this dude that started a Turo business, he said, I didn't have a car to rent, but on the same day, I went and bought like 5 different cars from different dealerships. And since I bought them all on the same day, it was too quick for them. to run my credit, or for everything to be reported, and be under my credit. That stuck with me. That information that he said stuck with me. And when it came to the jet skis, that information was already in me.
Yeah.
When we went to Oklahoma to buy those jet skis, that went under my credit that day. And when we bought the next jet skis, that went under my credit. If they would have had enough time to analyze and run my credit and be like, well, hold up, hold the fuck up. There is no way you can add this much more debt to your income.
Are you a fool?
You know what I'm saying? Not just a fool, but they were like, there's no way for you to be able to pay all this shit.
Yeah.
But I took that information I heard from that podcast, and I applied it, and I just went in, and I just kind of, I went in thinking positive, bro. Like it's gonna work for me too. Boom. One day before, one day I put 2 jet skis under my credit. The next day I put 2 more. It all worked out just like I had heard. So I say that just to let other people know, like, if you're scared of something that might not work, or you ready to invest into something but you don't think you'll qualify, and you're able to do something like that, do it the very same day.
Yeah. Be responsible though.
Be responsible, but do it the very same day. And what me and Lazy did, we jumped in, like, when people take a leap of death. Oh, you wait. Wait. When people take a leap of faith, that's one thing, But me and Lazy we jumped into it. We jumped into this shit. Like, that's how sure we are of our.
You know that Mexican saying, a la verga, güey? It's like, güey, eso es quieren pedo, güey, quieren putazo. Pues a la verga, güey. Like, we so used to saying a la verga for dumb shit.
Yeah.
And let's say, güey, a la verga for shit that's gonna change our lives, bro.
We can't be scared. So it's like we jumped into this shit, like everything you've invested, everything I invested, and we've invested more than just the jet skis themselves. There's insurance involved with this, and insurance, that shit gets paid up front.
Yeah.
There's accessories, there's everything that comes with it.
Everything's legit.
We both invested so much into it, and just because certain shit is in certain people's names doesn't mean that we don't share the responsibility of paying everything. So, I just want to say that, like, that's how like real you got to be with each other. That's how like in like, how can you say this, bro? Like, you got to be so into it, so in it with someone that you trust, that you can trust that they'll pay their share and you pay your share.
And that's only financial though, because like energy and ganas and going out of your way to do it for the business. You're not doing it for yourself, way. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna share this shit just so people know. It's like, when we move, I don't have this in my mind, like, I'm gonna get this much money out of this. I'm gonna get this much money out of this. Mm-hmm. Like, you're moving like for the business. You know what I mean? You have the business like mind. Like, that's the end goal. Like, how do we make this business be successful? Mm-hmm. You're not saying like, how do I get 20 grand, 40 grand in my pocket so I can buy this? Like, no, that's not the way to look at things. But
yeah, we're in this for the long run.
One big thing that I jumped in this for, way, and this is my reason, I wanted change, bro. I want change. Yeah. I don't want the same thing. Like, I've worked, like we just talked earlier, I've worked so many hours and made so many money. I know what a lot of money looks like, but I had to spend so many hours somewhere having to earn that. I want my time. So, saying that to say this, I jumped into this, bro. We didn't even know how to ride jet skis, way, to be honest, way. Just so
that's facts.
Just so people know, it's like we got into the jet ski business without even knowing how to ride jet skis.
That's facts.
And we were learning everything, and we share stories of how repairs and damages and shit that we have to do. But I jumped in this so, like, in the need of change, that I didn't even care if we lose. I don't even care if we lose, because my obviously I'm shooting to win. I'm putting all my energy to win, but my main goal is to learn.
Yeah.
What can I learn from this? Like, I'm learning how to deal with customers. I'm learning, this and that, finances, interest, customers,
Budgeting.
budgeting, future finance, business plans, all partnership,
Yeah.
ownership. We're already learning so much. And that's why I got into it. I just want to learn.
Yeah.
If all the money goes down the drain, like, bro, that's school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A lot of people pay
Hands-on school.
hands-on school. A lot of people have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. I'm like, bro, I just want to learn. If this, obviously, I'm putting my whole thing to win. Fuck yeah, bro. We are winning way. To be honest, we ain't losing. But to be honest, it's like, this is the first step to change my life, bro. I don't want to live the same way. I don't want to continue to, and this is for myself. I don't want to continue to clock in for somebody else anymore way.
Yeah.
And I've just learned that by this, my mindset's even changing at a quicker pace.
Yeah.
It's like I gave myself till I'm 40 years old to work for a company. And this 5 months that we've been doing this, that 4 years is shortening up way, because my mind is working different now way.
Yeah.
Because you get into a business and you're like, wait a minute, if I can do this, obviously you Minnesota, we're a summer, we're a seasonal business. Now what can I do in this other season? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got into it, because I want change. I want my time. I want freedom, bro. I want, so everybody's going to have a different reason for why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
My why is I want to spend my time freely. I want to spend time with my family. I don't want to work for somebody else when I can work for myself.
Yeah, bro. And a lot of times, even renters themselves say, they'll tell themselves like, because we'll rent to people at a lake. Let's say they rent for like 4 hours. Some people rent for 8 hours. When it comes down like that, when you have multiple rentals at a certain lake for a lot of hours, we make that a lake day. We bring the family, we bring food, we bring snacks, we bring
La música,
the music. The kids are swimming they're playing in the water. We're hanging out with the kids in the water.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We're making that. We're spending family time while we're also running a business at the same time. That, to me, I know I mentioned this to you, Lazy, but it's like, to me, that's like passive income. I know it's not a full passive income because we're putting in work by our time, our instructions, our everything, but it's like that to me is a somewhat passive income, and a lot of the time, like you mentioned, you want your free time, you want your freedom to be with your family. Like me, for most of my adult life, I've always had my full-time job and I had a part-time job, because I always felt like if I want to get ahead, I need a part-time job. And I would always get these part-time jobs, bro. And don't get me wrong, I always, from every job that I have ever worked in, I've learned something from them. So I don't regret nothing, but I know that it came to a time where it's like I can't do this no more. Because part-time jobs, a lot of the time, part-time jobs are low-skill jobs because they're just part-time. A lot of jobs that are like full-time jobs, those are a little more serious.
Yeah.
But it came to the point, bro, where some of these part-time jobs that I was working at, I was working with a lot of people that were a lot younger than me, and then I started getting to the point where it's like, whoa, like I shouldn't be doing this no more. I shouldn't be working these type of jobs anymore.
Yeah. When
everybody is like in their early 20s, like 18, 19 to early 20s, bro. I'm like I started feeling like, yo, like I'm out of place here. Like you, like when people started looking at you, be like, man, you fucked up in life if you here with us. So I started,
this is paying for my college.
This is paying for my cell phone. What do you got to pay, bro? So it got to the point where it's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to do this shit no more. I don't want these kind of jobs no more. So that's why, like we said, we got these ideas. We talked about business. We talked about all this and that. And nowadays it's like it's crazy when, I'm just to throw a number out there. Like, nah, I don't want to throw numbers out there, but it's like I make more money working a day on our own business than I used to make, in a week at this. On a good day, I should say I make more money on a good day than I used to make a week at these part-time jobs.
Yeah.
And that changes you. That changes the way you think. That changes the way you would ever spend your time again. Like, to me now, I'm like, I don't think I could ever go. I mean, God forbid, right? I mean, everything is everything could, everything
God
could happen.
God does not forbid.
So it's like
God permits.
So it's like I know other options now. So it's kind of like, oh, I don't have to do that. I can actually do something else. So it's just changing your way of thinking, changing the way of how you make money, how you see money, how you spend money, man. So
yeah, and like we mentioned, ways like we've been talking on this podcast for a minute, way, and for the people that rock with us from like day one, we was them motherfuckers, man. You know what I mean? Like just regular vatos. We straight regular vatos, man. Like we ain't nothing different. Yeah. To be honest, we some wild dudes. We was wild dudes. I'm not saying that to say anything different, but to say like, yo, if we can start making changes and if we can kind of flip a switch in our mind, that's going to send us in a direction where at one point in time, we are not going to be working for nobody else but ourselves. And at one point, we're not even going to be working for ourselves. We're just going to be collecting passive income. Yeah. But since we're grinders and we're Mexicans, we Mexican, we're hard workers. We probably going to be working till the day that we die, but we're going to be working in our own condition, in our own, what do you call that? Like,
our own pace.
Our own pace. You know what I mean? Like,
but because just to let the people know, like this is one of the business that we started. But this is not the only business that we want to start. You know what I mean? Like Pura Cultura podcast, that's a business.
That's a business. That's legit.
And también, we got that under LLC. We got that everything. Which, we got a lot of plans to grow this business into something else. The podcast business. But we got plans to get
Shout out to everybody that supports the Pura Cultura, man, because you guys are supporting a straight business, a legit business. You know what I mean? Like
a Latino
business, merch.
All that is separate. Like that business, Pura Cultura, is different. It's separate from Twin City Lago.
Yeah,
that money goes into different accounts. You know what I mean? But
plus, we don't give Twin City Lago customers like Pura Cultura stickers like, yo, thanks for renting these jet skis. Now on Monday, listen to our podcast.
We keep them I don't know if they want to, after they listen to us talk some shit, I don't know if they want to come back. So we keep it separate. But it's like we got ideas. This is just one of many ideas that we have. Obviously another one that we want to get to is real estate. You know what I mean? And like once we get into that, we're also going to share that. But it's like we're gonna be moving along with different ideas, and eventually just be running our own businesses instead of clocking in. And that's just the route that we choose to take.
Yeah.
And that's the route that that we feel like we need to take to get financial freedom. And the most important part of it all, bro, is just showing our kids a different way. I talked to my daughter. My son, he's 3 years old. He just turned 3. Shout out to my son, man. I forgot to give him a birthday shout out, man.
Shout out to Michael.
When he goes back and listens to this,
Miguelito,
man,
for the loyal listeners.
For the day ones, they know him as Miguelito, man. But my son Michael turned 3, man. And but to my kids, I especially my daughter right now, since she's older, I talked to him about my ideas. I talked to him about, obviously I don't get into details, but I talked to him about what we're planning, what we're doing. And her brain's already working in that way, like the way she talks, the ideas she comes, the conversations we have. I'm just trying to change the way my kids grow up thinking about what they can do in life. And I don't raise them in a way of like thinking like, you got to do what I'm doing. You're going to continue this. Like I tell them, like, when you get older, you guys can help me with this, but you guys can do what you guys want to do in life. You guys going to go to school. You guys going to do this,
man.
and all that. You guys can do what you guys want in life. And it's like just changing the conversation in our children, bro, because as kids we didn't have those conversations. Like, I mean, I think we probably did, but we didn't think it was possible. I mean, we knew at a very young age that we were undocumented. It's kind of like, yo, how can I be a police officer if I'm undocumented, right?
You want to be a 5-0?
How can we be
come on, man.
a licenciado if I'm undocumented?
Oh, that was further away.
So it's like, we just want to change the narrative, man. Like having our kids just seeing something different and seeing a different way of living, different possibilities, bro. That right there, bro. You can't tell that.
Yeah.
You gotta show it.
Yeah.
You know, like my daughter and my son, they don't just hear it, they see it.
They see the work.
Yeah,
we're in your garage working. We're in my garage working. Like, it's seen, bro. It's understood. It's felt. You know what I'm saying? Like, but not only our kids though. Like, you know, our family. Period.
yeah.
You know, for our family to, you know, our nieces and nephews to be like, oh, my uncle has a business, you know, or because we have brothers that have their own businesses. You know what I'm saying? But for them to know, like, yo, one of my uncles is a photographer. One of my uncles, they rent jet skis. My other uncle, he's a barber. You know, it's like, that's not what we grew up with.
That's
you
not
know what I mean?
Traditional
for us. You know,
right?
like, there was times where I ended up in some temporarias way. I'm gonna keep it straight Mexican way, in Spanish way. Temporarias, working in conditions where these fucking managers way, they would straight up tell me that I can't speak Spanish, bro. Like, bro, like, imagine somebody coming up to you like, you speak Spanish one more time, you're out of here. Yeah. You know, it's like, and I know that some people, like, you have no other choice. I had no choice at one point, you know. I don't know if you said it in this episode or a different one, but we didn't get our papeles till we were 25. Yeah. So we lived in conditions of being...
We had to tolerate shit.
We had to tolerate racism, you know, just harsh treatment in a certain way, because we were taught, yo, that's the manager, el mayordomo, if you want to get real Mexican with it, el supervisor or whatever. We were taught, like, shh, you know, be straight, you know, talk to him respectfully, be nice, you know. And now, you know, since we started working since a young age, maybe that was a good head start for us to, at this point now, I'm like, yo, I'm done with this, bro. Like, I'm done. I don't want no more part of this like culture of working and acting like I don't want to get too deep into it way, but I rather put all my energy into our business and our businesses as we continue to move forward way.
Hell yeah, man. So, man, there's a lot of work that goes into starting your own business, running your own business, and maintaining your own business, because you got to maintain it and you got to take care of it in order for it to continue to keep growing and to stay afloat. You know what I mean?
Continue to invest right in it.
So it's like it takes a lot of work. You just gotta, if you want to go in on your own, you know, obviously you're gonna have your own back, right? But if you're gonna go in with it with somebody else, you gotta make sure you both have that same type of commitment, that same type of time, that same type of hunger and ambition for it, because this takes a lot. You know what I mean? Like me and Lazy, we're twins. So I feel like we have somewhat of an advantage, because whatever ideas that we have, whatever, you know, anything that we have, we just bounce it off of each other. We're like, yeah, that's dope. Yeah, let's do that. I think that will work. Boom, we go for it. Like, if you can find any, like, a friend or a sibling or a family member that will be down with you just like that, like, just gotta, you gotta make sure that you guys are gonna be in it for the long run, man, because there's a lot of times when me and Lazy, we work in late nights. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's what I was about to say. It's like,
we work all day, and then late nights we have to fix something, we have to do something. So you gotta really you gotta be able to handle being around that person for a very long time,
or even just not even being around the person, but just putting in that many hours, or there's been multiple times where we've had to hang out at boat launches way after hours. You know what I'm saying? Because of deliveries and transportation situations. That's just not fun for the regular person. You know what I'm saying?
It's not. You got to be super committed. Like,
yeah,
you got to be so committed. You don't want to lose a sale that you're willing to go way out of your way to make things happen.
Yeah.
And there's times where Lazy, you do things. I'm like, damn, Lazy, man, he's really holding it down right now, man. Like, damn. And like we both making trips. We both doing this. Like, we both so determined to win,
and we take it serious. I think serious is like an understatement. We're just so like invested. Yeah, that's the one. We're so invested in our business. It's not. And this is gonna be one of the things that people gotta understand. You're working for this business and your company like round the clock. And you're not even seeing the dollars go in your bank account. That's when you know that you really are invested in your goals and your dreams and what you really want to accomplish.
Right.
And that's one of the things that some people gotta take in consideration if you're gonna have a partner. What are they in it for? Are they in it for the quick cash, or are they in it for in 5 years, that's when we're gonna start seeing some income. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at that. Like, what are you in it for? And we're twins, like you said. We have a different relationship with, but if it's a cousin or a best friend or something, everything changes when money gets involved. Everything changes when you can't go to the club, or you can't go vacation, because the business is not going to be able to run without you. Like, your vacation, you're going to have a conversation with your business partner if you can take that vacation and that date. Are you okay to have that conversation? You know what I'm saying? With your business partner telling you, like, I don't think that's a good time for you. I don't think that's a good time for you to take that vacation, player.
But a real person that's in it will know when is the right time to take it.
But I'm just saying, though, like, you just got to know all these things that are going to take place. Like, the best way that I can give people an example is like roommates. Like, everybody's had, if you've had a roommate before, you've known that you went in there with the best. Like, yo, this is my homie. This is my bro. This shit's going to be lit. I'm going to kick it with my boy like for like all day. Like, we going to live together. 3 weeks later, you're like, this motherfucker doesn't wash dishes. This motherfucker's not cleaned the bathroom in 3 months. You start knowing people differently when you get, in the business. Basically, look at it this way. When you start living with them, when you're in business with somebody, you're living with them. That's your home right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts, man. So, man, I hope people took something from this episode, man. We just want to share our experience. Like we said, man, I know, like, sometimes Lazy makes it a joke or something, but we do eventually. The more we learn, we might end up doing like some type of seminar where we can
2 bands,
stay with, where we can start, really get into detail with stuff, bro, because a lot of the details are boring for the people that are not really planning to get into it or not ready for it.
Yeah.
So the seminar can be for people that are really ready to get into it and want the full details, want what website we use to get the LLC, what bank we have our business accounts with, what artists we use for our logos, who developed our websites,
insurance contracts.
Yeah. All those details, they're very boring details, but
freaking the deal, can't even think of the word right now, but
the type of loans that we got, so it's like all those details are very boring details, but those details could be available to the people that are really ready for it and really need them. But it is like that can come down the line once we definitely ready to create something like that, man. But if you can take anything from this episode here in whatever type of business that you're in, just know, create an LLC, make your business a legitimate business, separate your business income from your personal income, create a website. Don't make people have to DM you and everything to be able to buy whatever product you're selling or whatever service you're selling. Have a website where they can go purchase that, schedule that, all online without having to even talk to a person. Let's see here. I believe that's it, man. And just ask questions, man, and do your research. That's what business podcast is out there for. That's what YouTube is out there for. If you guys got any questions for us on anything that we missed here, definitely DM us. If you guys have ideas that you just want to, throw out, definitely, we could be them people. You can, if you have an idea for something, if you have a business, like a business name or a business logo that you just want to like get like an opinion on, definitely, send that our way. We definitely willing to help if we get the time.
Yeah.
And all that, man. So, this is that episode, man. We definitely talked about doing this. It's not one of them super wild lit episodes, but it's some shit that
we gotta get it off our chest.
We gotta get it off our chest. We gotta make sure we share this information. And I just want to say thanks to everybody that's been rocking with us till this day. Everything everything plays a role in everything. The way we've been running this podcast, the love we've been getting through this podcast, the support we've been getting through this podcast gives us that confidence to also move in different spaces. So I definitely want to give everybody a shout out and thank you for definitely giving us that confidence and that motivation to keep pushing. I see a lot of people that follow us, a lot of people that rock with us, got their own businesses as well. We wish you guys nothing but success. If you guys got anything that we missed that, might help us, if we definitely DM that to us. If you guys, anything, definitely make sure you guys share that with us, man. We here to help and we here to have the conversation, man.
Yeah. And for people that have a business already and they want to, holler at us, way, you know what I'm saying? Like we can get you on a podcast and we can, get your story, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just like people heard our story, we can get your story.
Right.
But another main thing, I know you mentioned off that list, one of the biggest things is like, don't expect a quick turnaround on finances or like, don't expect like your business is going to blow up in 6 months or a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a saying that like it's a quick like satisfaction. I can't even think of the term.
Instant satisfaction.
Instant like something, but it's like think long term. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna get into a business or if you're gonna get into something that you're gonna believe in, just get in it and just, you know what I mean? Like get in it like smart and with a plan that you're not going to be losing money, but just get in it knowing that it might not blow up as quick as you would like, you know what I'm saying? But just stick to it. Like nobody can win and nobody has won in their first year of business, you know what I'm saying? And just like we tell people like start a podcast, start, this and that. We also want to tell people start a business, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is that you have an idea of, like whether you're a creator, artist, maybe you can, make some dope shirts. Maybe you can make some dope anything. Maybe you can sell a service. You're a barber. You're everything. Like just do it. You know what I'm saying? But like, just trust the process. And like a lot of motherfuckers that are already millionaires say, it's like they say the journey's a lot funner than when you get there. You know what I'm saying? So let's enjoy this fucking journey.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta enjoy the journey, man. You gotta trust the process. That's one thing that we do. Like there's weeks that we have really good weeks that we're like, damn. And then there's weeks with bad weather in our case that is like, okay, oh shit, like this is really setting us back a little bit. But it's like you just gotta trust the process and you gotta trust everything. You know what I mean? Like it just comes with everything, man. You know, we could be here all day talking about this, man.
That's
But
facts.
as we go, we're gonna get into more details, man. And if anyone, like I said, if anyone got any questions, definitely DM us. And again, thanks to everyone that's rocking with us. Make sure you guys hit up the website for the podcast, puraculturapodcast.com. Get yourself a shirt, get yourself a hat, get yourself a hoodie, and support the podcast, man.
Yo, this is your boy Lazy, man. And like we love to say, fuck depression and fuck anxiety, mi gente. Keep your head up, stay brown. And this is your boy Lazy, and I'm out.
Hell yeah, man. Shout out to all my Latinos doing their thing out there, man. We got to change this narrative that we're always the help, that we're always the the general labor help
Employees.
that don't have, that we're not smart, that we can't do anything better, man. We're going to be changing this as this narrative as we go, as we support one another, as we share information with one another like we're doing right now. This is the only way that we're going to win once we stop being scared to share information, man. So shout out to everyone doing their thing. Shout out to everyone supporting us. And this is just the beginning for all of us that for all of us that are here rocking with each other, man. Let's go.